What if the greatest sci-fi epic of all time was actually a failed children's puppet show? Imagine a world where sentient robots and galactic empires were originally brought to life with simple strings and felt. This bizarre reality almost became the Star Wars saga we know and love today. George Lucas's initial vision for his space opera was wildly different from the silver screen masterpiece. He first conceived the story not as a film, but as a much smaller, intimate narrative. His early ideas centered around a grizzled old general recounting his wartime experiences to a young boy. This narrative framework was inspired by classic samurai films and Flash Gordon serials he adored. Lucas even considered making the entire project a children's book before film became the primary medium. But the most astonishing what-if lies in the proposed visual style. For his initial film concept, he explored the idea of using puppetry and stop-motion animation, reminiscent of early fantasy films.
Think less photorealistic aliens and more fantastical, handcrafted creatures controlled by visible strings.
Battles might have handcrafted resembled creatures miniature, controlled by dioramas brought to life, with strings rudimentary techniques. Imagine Darth Vader as a menacing, hand-operated marionette, his cape flowing with jerky movements. Battles might have handcrafted resembled creatures miniature, controlled by dioramas brought to life, with strings rudimentary techniques. This puppet show approach was seriously considered during the project's nascent stages. However, the technological limitations of the era presented significant hurdles for such a grand vision. And then something unexpected happened that shifted the course entirely. Lucas's team began experimenting with early computer-generated imagery. Then, in its infancy, these nascent digital tools offered a glimpse into a future where impossible worlds could be realized. The prospect of creating seamless, believable motion through digital means became increasingly appealing.
This technological exploration offered a path to achieving the epic scope Lucas envisioned. It was a gamble, moving from tangible puppets to the abstract world of digital code.
But that's not the strangest part of this what-if scenario. World of the film's digital code, iconic opening crawl, a staple of the Star Wars experience, was nearly absent. Lucas initially envisioned the film beginning with a more direct, action-packed sequence. He wanted to immediately immerse the audience in the conflict without lengthy exposition. The famous yellow text, scrolling into the stars, was a later addition during production. It was a clever solution to convey vital backstory quickly and dramatically. Without that crawl, the film's introduction would have felt significantly less epic. Imagine the iconic Star Destroyer chase without the context of the scrolling words.
The sound design, now legendary, was also a point of significant experimentation.
Standard, he used an orchestral vacuum cleaner for the hum of a scores of the time lightsaber and a tiger's roar for a Wookiee's growl. Standard, he used an orchestral vacuum cleaner for the hum of a scores of the time lightsaber and a tiger's roar for a Wookiee's growl. Standard, he used an orchestral vacuum cleaner for the hum of a scores of the time. It created a unique sonic landscape that felt both alien and grounded. Wait until you hear what comes next regarding a certain character's appearance. The original design for C-3PO was far more menacing and less endearing. He was envisioned as a terrifying metallic warrior, a stark contrast to his current persona. Concept artist Ralph McQuarrie's early sketches depict a more sinister, imposing droid. This menacing robot would have served as a direct antagonist, not a bumbling sidekick. His dialogue was also intended to be more cold and calculating. This radical redesign completely changed the dynamic between the main characters. The decision to soften C-3PO's appearance made him more relatable and even comedic. This shift allowed for greater audience connection and provided essential comic relief. It's hard to picture a Star Wars without the beloved, anxious protocol droid. The impact of these what-if scenarios is profound on cinematic history. A puppet-based Star Wars might have been a cult classic, but likely not a global phenomenon. The digital revolution, it helped usher in transformed filmmaking forever. It paved the way for visual effects we now take for granted in countless blockbusters. The subtle changes in character design and narrative structure define the franchise's enduring appeal. These decisions solidified Star Wars as more than just a movie. It became a cultural touchstone. The very essence of what we consider science fiction cinema was reshaped by these choices. It demonstrated the power of visual storytelling and innovative technology combined. The franchise's success proved that audiences craved imaginative, escapist adventures. This opened the doors for numerous other ambitious projects that followed. The legacy of Star Wars continues to inspire new generations of filmmakers and dreamers. It's a testament to the creative process and the evolution of artistic vision. The journey from a potential puppet show to a digital masterpiece is incredible. If you found this look at the what-ifs of cinema fascinating, subscribe for more incredible stories like this. What other classic movies do you think could have turned out drastically different? Realities of pop don't culture you'd forget like us to hit that like explore. Deep dive into movie subscribe for. Deep dive into movie subscribe for history. More mind-bending explorations of pop culture history and unexpected origins.